Am I the a-hole bringing real cheese snacks to a baby shower and not warning people about the dairy? So I 27F went to my cousin's baby shower last weekend and offered to bring snacks. I love cooking and wanted to make something special instead of the usual pre-made grocery store trays and cookies. I made homemade goldfish-style crackers with real sharp cheddar, butter, and spices, the expensive stuff too. Everyone loved them and were grabbing handfuls up on handfuls. I even put them in little pastel bowls around the house so everyone wouldn't crowd around one spot. But like an hour in, her friend, who we shall refer to as Linda, comes up to me and asks if there was dairy products in those crackers. I said yes, they're obviously cheese crackers. She looked horrified and said she was lactose intolerant, then said she was feeling sick. She went to lie down and later told everyone I should have warned people. It's very clearly a cheese cracker though. They're orange. They smell like cheese. What part of that screams safe for sensitive stomachs? She didn't ask beforehand. She didn't even hesitate, just kept eating them and then acted like I poisoned her. Someone else chimed in and said I should have labeled them for allergens, but I didn't realize dairy was apparently an allergen now. It's not like I snuck shellfish into brownies. It's cheddar. In cheese crackers. At a party. The host, my cousin, said everything was fine and not to worry. But now I'm hearing from my mom that Linda's telling people she was violently ill and that the food wasn't safe. I think that's dramatic, honestly. If your stomach can't handle cheese, ma'am, maybe don't eat mystery crackers at a party. So now there's drama in the group chat about how we should make food more inclusive, and I'm being told I should apologize to keep the peace. Am I the a-hole for bringing cheesy snacks to a baby shower and assuming adults would know how to avoid something they can't eat? Not the a-hole. I am severely lactose intolerant, so you know what I do? I make sure food is dairy-free before I shove it into my pie hole, and I don't delegate the job of monitoring what I eat to my host. She's drama-mongering. You have nothing to apologize for. She is a grown adult who should know how to govern herself better and carry a supply of Lactaid. Wouldn't you think after the first bite she would taste the cheese and question it at that point? Yet she still consumes handfuls of them. She's an adult, so she should also be held accountable for her intolerance. Next story. Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my GF for not telling her parents no? My GF 23 and I 25 just bought a house. Brand new house. And within 2 months of living in it, she tells me that she told her parents they could live here practically rent-free until they get their own place. Mind you, they are not just changing houses. They are being evicted. This is their second eviction in the last 7 years, all due to their poor financial decisions. They are both avid gamblers and other poor life choices. They both have an income that amounts to well over what they need to live off of. Yet they have always asked for money and never seem to have it. I told her that the only way they are going to learn is to tell them no, and she refuses to because they're her parents. I told her that she's enabling them to keep on with their bad habits and that I am willing to break up with her if she doesn't change her mindset on trying to help them this way. I understand that they are her parents, but I am not supporting them as if they are my children. Is this enough to leave someone over? We have been together almost 3 years. The house is in my name and I can afford everything solely by myself. I'll try to answer any questions that may arise if need be. If you let them move in, they will never leave. Opie replies, "That's my fear exactly." Next story. Am I the a-hole for threatening to ban my mother from my wedding and meeting her grandchild if she doesn't cut off my ex-girlfriend? I 28M am marrying my current fiancé Maddie, 24F this November, and we're expecting our first son in February. Prior to my current partner, I dated my ex-girlfriend Adriana, 29F, for 5 years. Things did not end well with my last relationship. She was upset that I was taking too long to marry her and upset that I wanted to make a career change when it turned out I hated my career that I was starting in human resources. 2.5 years ago, she broke up with me despite me telling her that I was close to getting ready to propose to her. I just wanted to finish my school for my new career in healthcare and then I would be ready. It tore me up for a long time, especially since over the time we were together she got very close to my family, particularly my mom. That meant I couldn't even get away from her at some family events. 2 years ago, I met Maddie at a work function and we hit it off immediately. We moved in within 6 months of knowing each other. I had proposed by a year since I had achieved the career track I wanted, and a couple of months ago we found out she was pregnant. I couldn't be happier with how things have turned out for me recently. Adriana, learning about how fast things went with Maddie, went ballistic. She called me and said I was a piece of crap who used her and led her on, and said many vile things to me. She started saying awful things about me to any mutuals who could listen, and even started leaving negative reviews at the hospital I work at, naming me by name. Those eventually got taken down, but it was incredibly embarrassing. I spoke with a lawyer to see what my options were, but he said I didn't have many options for relief. Last week, after having dealt with this for a while, I ran into her at my mom's birthday party. At that party, she happened to accidentally spill a drink on my fiancé. And during a speech about my mother, she sniped at me saying, "I love this wonderful woman, and I'm glad she gave birth to 3 wonderful children," while glaring at me my mom had 4 kids. When she was leaving, she also accidentally dinged my car with her driver's side door. After she left, I sat down with my mother and said that my ex was making my life harder for no reason, listed the things I mentioned above, and asked her to not invite her to events anymore. She pushed back, saying that Adriana was a decent friend to her and she likes Adriana's mother a lot, so it would be difficult for her to cut her off. I said that I understand that, but I am asking as her son to support me when somebody is mistreating me. She said we'd talk about it further. Yesterday, I found out that Adriana was coming to my youngest brother's track tournament. I called my mom and asked her to uninvite Adriana. She said she couldn't. I said, "Let me make this more clear for you then. If you are saying yes to her, you are saying no to me. If you decide to support her in this, you can consider yourself uninvited to my wedding and not a part of the family I am building. You can also say goodbye to meeting your first grandchild." She called me mean and cold. I said I'm about this. The fallout from this has been more than I was expecting. Adriana went nuts when my mom cut her off, and I got a bunch of mutuals saying I was a massive butt for destroying the relationship between my mom and Adriana. My mom is pretty upset with me, but I know she'll eventually come around. My fiancé is happy that I am standing up for her and us. My question is, did I go too far? Am I the a-hole for threatening to cut off my mom if she didn't cut off Adriana? Not the a-hole, and it wouldn't surprise me if 1, Adriana thought she still had a chance of getting back with you, and 2, if your mother was feeding her information and encouraging it. I feel badly for your wife, having to put up with so much disrespect from Adriana and your mother. I cannot imagine going to my partner's family events and having to deal with his ex being there all the time, crapping all over your new relationship. Your wife has some class, unlike Adriana and your mother. Dude, not the a-hole. Who your mom chills with is her biz. But when it starts messing with your life, lines gotta be drawn. Adriana sounds like she's running the Psycho X playbook, page by page. Mom's gotta choose. It ain't about destroying the relationship, man. It's about protecting your fam. She'll come round. Good on ya for standing up for your lady and your kiddo. Keep that sh*t up, bro. Next story. Am I the a-hole my mother refuses to acknowledge my spinal cord injury isn't fixable, and I finally snapped at her? Basically what the title says, I 17F broke my back just over 2 years ago. My spinal cord suffered severe damage and it has left me physically disabled. I can stand on my own and walk short distances, but doing so often puts me in excruciating pain. Over the last 2 years, I have had 3 surgeries to try repair the damage, and while they have lessened pain in some areas, the full injury cannot be repaired. My mother 55F refuses to accept this, and over the last 2 years has pushed me into more and more treatments even if I didn't want them, claiming every time that this would be the one that cured me. Both I and my father have tried to tell her that the nerve damage is permanent and that the best course of action is to simply try preserve my back so I retain mobility as I get older, which is what 3 separate doctors have advised. My mother won't listen to us. She's become obsessed with trying to fix me and get me back to my old self. She keeps signing me up for treatments and programs without asking or after I've already said no. These treatments are usually exercise-based or based on holistic treatment/natural remedies or even still experimental procedures, and most of them have only ever left me sore if not injured. She also refuses to let me have any accommodations. I can't use a cane, wheelchair, or anything else around her, and often refuses to let me sit or lay down when I'm in pain. Over the last 1.5 years my condition has been deteriorating, but my mother acts like she hasn't noticed, just keeps booking my usual doctor's appointments. Now it's gotten to the point where she insists on being in the doctor's office with me because she believes that I won't give reliable information about my symptoms if I go in alone. Tonight, I just couldn't take it anymore and broke down crying, telling her to stop trying to fix me and just help. I begged her to just stop pushing me, to just try to accept that I'm not able-bodied anymore, but she wasn't having it. She told me that if Paralympic athletes could do it, so could I, that I had to stop making excuses and that she only wanted what is best for me. I understand that denial is part of the grieving process, but I've already accepted it, and I just don't know what to do anymore. I've tried to be understanding, but she's really driving me to the end of my rope. So am I the a-hole for snapping at her? Not the a-hole. This seems like medical abuse. She won't let you use a cane or wheelchair. That's insane, OP. You deserve so much better. Report this to your doctors. They may be able to intervene. If not, this can be a CPS issue. It's not to have you removed. It's to make sure she doesn't cause you more harm. On that same note, start asking the holistic practitioners about their liability/malpractice insurance, where they receive their medical training. They won't want to treat you with these questions. Not the a-hole, but Mom is. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's wife she's not my bonus mom after I only brought Mom wedding dress shopping with me? I'm 26F and only child. My parents divorced my senior year of high school. By the time I graduated, my dad started dating his second wife. I'd met her once before. He told me he was bringing her, and I was like, okay, fine. She showed up way overdressed and attempted to overtake the whole thing. She tried to interfere in the photos I had taken. She tried to push my mom away from me in any group photos taken, and it took me telling my dad that if he didn't stop her, they could just go home and not come to the party. A few times she even tried to unlink mine and Mom's arms and take Mom's place next to me. She apologized to me a few days later, but Mom later admitted Dad's wife called and boasted about how much nicer her and Dad's photos with me would look because I had two parents in them instead of one. She also tried to boast that I took more with her than Mom. But that wasn't true, and I didn't actually print any of the photos with her in them because she pissed me off so bad. After the whole situation, every time I saw my dad's wife, who became his wife a year after my graduation, she was overly nice to me and would get super eager to spend time with whenever I mentioned I was going back to Mom's. I stayed with Mom when I was home for the holidays. She was always looking to spend time with me instead. I know from one of Dad's friends that his wife always looks for everyone to insult my mom. It's just so petty. She started calling herself my bonus mom and me her bonus daughter. I corrected her once or twice, but then I just started spending less time with her. As a result, my relationship with my dad has suffered. Recently, I went wedding dress shopping with my mom, and when Dad's wife found out, she got super upset I went with Mom and not her. She asked me why I didn't want her to go, and that's what bonus moms are for. I told her she's not my bonus mom, and she never was. She's my dad's second wife and is no kind of mother figure to me, and she never will be with the way she treats my actual mother. My dad told me I took it too far and should apologize because even if she's been beach-eyed to my mom, she's been super welcoming to me. I told him that doesn't matter because she needs to know her place and it's not as someone I care for. And that the more she tries to force her way in and push my mom out or outshine my mom, the worse she looks to me. He insisted that I could still have been a lot nicer. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Even if she was a saint to you and your mom, you still don't need to feel comfortable with her being your bonus mom. She didn't raise you and has seemingly done nothing motherly with you. But are you going to invite her to the wedding because she's going to pull the same thing she did at the graduation? This is going to be a thing at every event. Opie replies, I know it will, and honestly, I have some soul searching to do after all of this. Dad won't come without her, but she's so annoying and inserts herself way too much for my liking. So you were almost a grown-up when she came into the picture, and she just thinks she can magically swoop in and take on a motherly role in your life? Your dad's wife has a serious case of Delulu, and I don't blame you for pulling back. She sounds like she tries to replace your mom in every way she can. Makes you wonder why she acts like your mom is such a threat to her. It is too bad that your relationship with your dad suffers from this, but honestly, that is on him and not you. If he is fine with his wife being overly pushy and kinda creepy, that is the consequences he will have to live with. Opie replies, I was already 18 when I met her and never lived with her, so technically a grown-up I was. As for why she's like this, I don't really know other than she seems jealous that she's the second wife. She tries to cling to this younger wife thing, but she's 3 years younger than Dad and only a year younger than my mom. Next story. Am I the a-hole for storming out of my dad's wedding because he mentioned my brother and sister and his stepdaughters but not me? I'm 16 and am adopted. My siblings are my parents' bio kids. They're 13 and 11. 7 years ago, my parents divorced. It was never explained why, but I always noticed that Dad was bitter toward Mom while Mom hid how she felt really well. I did hear a fight between them once where she called him a POS who didn't deserve his kids. At the time, it didn't make sense, but it makes more sense now. My dad got remarried a month ago. His wife has 2 daughters, 5 and 6, with her first husband who died. When everyone was eating, Dad got up and started to make this long speech about how happy he was with his wife and how blessed they were with their family. He called her an amazing mom and woman and all that fluffy stuff. Then he thanked her daughters for being amazing, and he told them he couldn't wait to be their dad for real and how much he already loved them. Then he thanked his kids but only named my brother and sister. He didn't say a single thing about me. He gushed about my siblings, about his wife's girls. Then he told everyone how the family and named everyone except me was starting fresh from that day forward. How they were lucky to have such great kids. His speech wasn't over before I stormed out of the wedding. I called Mom and told her I needed her to come and pick me up and not ask questions because I just needed her. My brother followed me out and so did some of Dad's family. My brother asked me if I was okay. The rest of the family asked why I made a scene, and when I pointed out the speech they said it was an oversight and I was included every time he said kids, and so what if he left out my name? It wasn't the end of the world. I told them it was only my name. My brother tried to say something to Dad's family, but they told him to go back inside and celebrate and not to make more of a scene at the wedding. They tried to make me go back in too, but I told them I was going home with Mom. When I told Mom what happened, I got so upset. She did her best to calm me down and distract me. It was a few days later when she talked to me about what happened more. I told her missing my name once in that speech was maybe understandable, but he wrote a long book and still didn't mention my name. I told him he couldn't have made it clearer that I'm not his real kid. She told me she was so sorry. I mentioned what I heard before, and she told me the biggest reason we divorced is he wanted to give me up because they had their own kids. But he fought for me in the divorce with my siblings, so she hoped he'd grow eventually. I said he probably didn't want to pay child support. I heard nothing from Dad since. His family have tried to yell at me for making a scene at the wedding, but Mom shut them down. My siblings still go to his house, but he doesn't ask about me or seem to care that I don't go with them. And even with that, his family still wants to say I'm AITAH, which pissed me off but makes me doubt myself. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. He made it clear that you're not his kids, so act as such. It hits and it sucks, and I know the feelings that come with being adopted, as I am too. OP replies, "It sucks so freaking much. I'm glad that Mom loves me the same and would fight for me." I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel. Our posts.